Society, The Answer. Great to have you with us. Kicking it off with Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. So much to talk about with the great Mike Davis. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you doing this Friday morning, my friend?
I'm great, and thanks for having me back.
Well, we appreciate it, and you're breaking it down, and you're just ripping it up, and we appreciate it, because some of us look at what's happening with the lawfare, we shake our head, we don't know what's going on, and you are ahead of the curve in that regard, Mike Davis. Let me start here, if I can. This judge, Kendra Briggs, sparing jail time on those 15-year-old teens that attacked that Doge staffer. Probation, they almost killed this guy. This guy protected his girlfriend, Judge Kendra Briggs. Who are these people, Mike Davis?
That's the problem when you put these Democrat activist judges on the bench in these Democrat third world hellholes like Washington, D.C., and then you have the thugs on the street getting protected by the thugs on the bench, and that's exactly what happened in this case. They gave this young Doge kid a concussion, right? And yes, you're going to give these kids probation. I mean, think about this if the races were reversed. Yeah. If you had white kids beating the hell out of a black man and almost killing him, and then the white judge gives the white defendants probation, there would be national outrage, as there should be. But because the races are reversed here, somehow this is okay. This is why at the Article 3 Project, I've called for the end of the D.C. Home Rule Act of 1973. We need to get rid of this home rule in D.C. D.C. is our nation's capital. It's a federal enclave. It belongs to all Americans. And you have these corrupt Democrat politicians, including on the bench, protecting the criminals instead of the hardworking Americans. And it's just unacceptable.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this Kendra Briggs, the judge. You know, she's not a spring chicken. She's 50. She's not old, but I mean, she went to Florida A&M. Looking here, University of Miami, and then she goes, well, we wanna have rehabilitation, and we don't want to punish them. I can't get a handle on it. If I didn't have my father at home, Mike Davis, to straighten me out, or if I didn't know there were consequences to me being a punk kid growing up in Jersey, man, you just run wild. What are they missing? And it seems to be an epidemic on the Democratic, in every judicial area where the Democrats run things.
So they want this. They want the chaos. This is the Marxist dream, is to have these cities run like they're out of control, run like Gotham, right? Just a dystopian hellhole. And that's what the Marxists want. They want these cities they want people to be miserable. If people are happy and successful, Marxism doesn't work. They want people to be miserable. They want people to be divided. They want chaos. They want crime. This is right out of George Soros' playbook.
Yeah, amen. And jumping to Letitia James, and you called it on so many of these things, Mike Davis, early on. Jack Smith raiding Mar-a-Lago under Chris Wray, that worked out well. And now, what's going to happen there? I mean, and then Fani Willis. You talked about Fani Willis, and now Tish. I mean, now and again, I don't know what happens to these people once they get into power, because sometimes I know these people personally, Mike. They're not bad people. They get into power. I don't know who they become, because now she's got some grandnieces, and she's got a couple of. Are there people that are in her homes in Virginia that have warrants for their arrests? Is that what I'm reading properly here, Mike?
Yeah. So not only is Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General, allegedly committing mortgage fraud in Virginia by claiming these second residences in Virginia are her second home instead of investment properties, where she got a better interest rate, and she took advantage of that interest rate when there's a higher default rate, which hurts everyone who's trying to get a bank loan. So it's mortgage fraud. Now we're seeing that Big Tish has these thug grandnieces who are living in these homes, and they appear to be criminals. So wow. She's allegedly harboring criminals, people who are literally fleeing from the criminal justice system. Big Tish is putting her in her fraud homes.
And that's got to, is that going to be an add-on charge-wise, Mike Davis?
It could be. I mean, if you're harboring a fugitive from justice, that's another crime.
Yeah, and in Virginia, and I always thought that this was going to be like Virginia. Well, maybe this is an area of Virginia that isn't very liberal, but even the charges that were brought against Tisch in this regard, still a liberal, was a liberal grand jury that indicted her, correct?
Yeah. I mean, this is a grand jury in the Eastern District of Virginia in the Alexandria division. This is right outside of Washington, D.C. This is full of Democrats, including government workers. And so if this Democrat grand jury found that there was probable cause to charge Big Tisch with mortgage fraud, bank fraud, and making false statements to a financial institution, a 2-count federal indictment, felonies. It's serious stuff. I mean, she faces up to, I think, it's 30 years in prison for each count. So wow. Big Tisch could be going to the big house.
Wow. Hey, Mike, while we have you, appreciate your valuable time. Ketanji Brown Jackson on the Supreme Court. Walk me through this, because there's that case where she said, and I'm just encapsulating here, you know this far better than I do, sir, minorities can't vote because they are disabled. I mean, what she said, it really came out. I'm confused about this case at the Supreme Court. It seems so racist. Could you explain that to us, please, Mike?
Yeah, it's shocking, and maybe I would say to the Democrats, you should start picking Supreme Court justices based upon merit and qualification instead of skin pigment and genitals and attraction to genitals, perception of genitals, or whatever the hell the Democrats they're doing, their DEI and they, them, their politics. It's embarrassing that Ketanji Brown Jackson's saying this stuff. I mean, the good thing for conservatives is Joe Biden had to replace one justice, and he could have replaced that one justice who could have actually made inroads with the swing justices like Kavanaugh, like the Chief Justice, maybe even Amy Coney Barrett from time to time. But instead, they picked Ketanji Brown Jackson, who repels them. So it looks like no one has done more to solidify the 6-3 constitutionalist majority, the first one in 90 years, than Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's perfect. I mean, here's what it comes down to. We have the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments enacted after the Civil War to outlaw slavery, to provide due process and equal protection to the freed slaves and voting rights to the freed male slaves. And then in 1920, they extended that to women with the 19th Amendment. And in 1965, they passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, including Section 2 of that, to outlaw intentional discrimination, racial discrimination in voting, right? And the Democrat judges have been misinterpreted that over the last 60 years to say that you need these DEI House districts, that you can only have black people representing black people, which is just racism in itself. That interpretation of Section 2 violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, along with the 15th Amendment, outlawing intentional racial discrimination in voting. And I think that's where the Supreme Court is heading with this case. So the Democrats are going to lose about 1/3 of their DEI districts. So good riddance to the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, these Democrat operatives who do not care at all about race. Mm-hmm. They care about power.
That's exactly right. Mike, thanks for breaking that down. Before we let you go, sir, John Bolton, is it true that he hid those documents in his mustache? I mean, this guy, this guy is serious. He's seriously in trouble, Bolton.
He's in big trouble. Now, this was an indictment in the District of Maryland. These were many career prosecutors on this indictment, including the U.S. attorney, who's a career prosecutor. You have the National Security Division at Main Justice that's full of career prosecutors. This is not the Democrats can't even pretend this is a partisan indictment when you have all these career prosecutors and agents bringing this, again, in another Democrat district in the suburbs of D.C. and Maryland, and you're going to have probably a Democrat judge, a Democrat grand jury, mostly Democrat agents and prosecutors. I think John Bolton's cooked. There's 18 counts. He transmitted highly classified documents via personal email. I think there are 8 counts of that, and then another 10 counts of having highly classified documents that he stole in caps, retained. So he's 76 years old. John Bolton could be spending the rest of his life in prison.
Wow. Mike, before we let you go, all the lawfare that we've talked about for years on this program, all the shows that you have done, and you've enlightened us about the lawfare against one Donald J. Trump. I mean, it's going. What do we have to look forward to? What is there going to be, Brennan? Is there going to be Hillary? Is there going to be Obama? I mean, do you have any inkling of that, sir?
I would say these indictments you're seeing right now against Big Tish and Comey and John Bolton, these are the appetizer indictments. Wait for the main course. And I think that main course is going to be the conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. Section 241 in the Southern District of Florida. You saw that they just opened a special grand jury in Fort Pierce. My good friend Jason Redding Quinones is the U.S. attorney there, and I have very publicly, for more than 3 years since the Mar-a-Lago raid, called for accountability through conspiracy charges in Fort Pierce, Florida. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. Mike Davis, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Mike, come back when you can, sir, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mike Davis.